and Danny's show. But Gramps, you mentioned going out and getting it done. And myself and Gramps did just that 2 weeks ago in various McDonald's lobbies.
That was fucking unbelievable. What a great day.
Yeah.
What a great day.
And that's up. The behind the scenes is up on my personal Patreon, Danny Mullen. Austin came out and filmed. He had a lot of fun. But Gramps and I, who came up with that concept originally? Was it Jesse? It might have been.
No, I wrote it.
You wrote it.
Yeah.
That was your concept.
Yeah. I wrote. Me and my manager, I came up with the Colonel going in and trying to buy McDonald's, and then he said, then Ronald comes in, and I was like, yeah, and we start brawling.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing that made it was how good my makeup and my costume and Gramps' costume were. We looked the part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they looked incredible.
So well that everybody there, I think they probably thought it was sponsored by corporate. Maybe not sponsored by, but at least known of and approved by the McDonald's entity. Because, I mean, nobody has access to that. It wasn't like I had a clown nose and Gramps just had his hair in a ponytail. He had a bucket of fucking chicken, and I had $300 oil-based face paint on and clown shoes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. It was unbelievable, and I didn't even think about it like that. They must have thought this was some sort of planned thing because we were the exact characters.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I did not think with that crowd we had there in the hood that they were going to cheer when two men started making out.
Yep. Yeah.
What? Did you guys make out?
After the shoot, yeah.
Yeah, that was at the van.
Yeah, that was nobody was filming.
We got people following us back to the van to get pictures.
No way.
Yeah, it was fun. One of the things I liked about it that I value more and more as time goes on in my comedy is we did a really, really funny bit without pissing anybody off or really hurting anyone's feelings, which is sometimes a relief to me because a lot of times people want me dead after we roll through their town and film a bit.
Right.
So Gramps and I went in there and basically just improvised off the idea that Gramps was trying to buy the KFC franchise, and I...
Yeah, and he has warned me about this before, which is what... I got a rough cut of it if you want to see it.
Oh, shit.
Are we allowed to play that now?
We can't play it.
Okay, yeah.
But
because
afterward.
the sound has to get cleaned up so we
Sure.
can hear everything.
Sure.
But it's fucking great.
Sure. When is it going to premiere on Full Send?
I don't know. Hopefully within the next day or so.
Oh, that'd be
It was
nice.
supposed to go up last week, and Jesse was really busy at a merch drop. You know, he had a lot. You know, he's got a ton of stuff going on, and so we didn't get to it. And so, I just talked to my manager Reed, who you met that day.
Yeah.
And so Jesse was like, he okayed some stuff, so we're going to get moving. So hopefully any day now, because it's a fucking banger. It's unbelievable.
That's great.
Yeah, the best one I thought that we did. The first two were memorable, but the third one is where we really hit it out of the park.
Well, yeah, but they had asked us to go in with a couple different concepts, and you wanted to go back there and grab that burger, but that big Latin dude, he was the manager. He was just so you went for the pastries.
I wanted to establish my dominance over the franchise because, I mean, I'm in the commercials, bitch.
You're Ronald.
So when he was trying to buy my McDonald's location on whichever boulevard down in Torrance, I rounded the counter, said, "Who's allowing this? Who authorized this prick to be in there?" And then I open up a pastry cabinet because they won't let me go back to the burgers, reach in, grab the first thing available to me, take a big bite, and I realize it's rock hard.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then the guy next to me, the employee's like, "Yeah, you probably shouldn't eat that, dude."
Yeah,
Oh my God.
that guy had the best delivery on that line. He was standing there because Danny was full steam ahead. This was a big cat, little tatted up, big cat, and he wouldn't let him get back there. And then he just, on a dime, he just spun, grabbed the pastry, and the cat goes, "I don't know if I'd eat that."
Dude, I don't think it was plastic because it did have some sort of frosting on top.
Yeah, they just left it. It's one of those. It's preserved naturally with sugar, probably, but it's probably been there for months.
It could have.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. But that turned into a good bit. You know,
Yeah.
I said, you don't even know your own product. So,
Question is, when are you coming over to the doing a video for the old Danny Mullen channel sometime?
oh, I'm going to do that right now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's actually the Leo
Well,
Dottavio
I
OnlyFans.
wanted to say this because on the first one we went to, you got behind the counter and said, we need to open another register.
Oh yeah. Well, the flow.
Yeah.
We needed to get that going.
Yeah.
Time is money.
That's
Yeah.
funny, dude.
People
That's
slashing
funny.
those credit cards.
Hey, man, you're all about the business.
I never heard so many were going to call the police. On that first one, we
They said they were going to call the police.
oh my God, yeah,
Oh,
30 times.
Just, I thought everybody
love
loved us. I guess that was the one where the managers were really upset.
So you were playing the Colonel.
I was playing the Colonel.
When you did your, you get in character for the
Yeah.
Colonel. I mean, you have to address his racist past, right? Did you?
yeah.
You know?
I go up there and say, I am reformed. I am into diversity now. I didn't
like
used
it.
to be.
I like it. I
So,
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, fuck it. While he's gone, a little what is your process, just quickly, to, like, let's say you have an audition and you want to get in character. Do you write stuff out? Do you ask yourself some questions?
Sure. I mean, I do all that stuff. It depends what it is.
Mm-hmm.
What was I watching? I watch documentaries, interviews on actors all the time. I never stop. I'm reading the Uta Hagen book now.
Nice.
And, I like her. She has 3-minute exercises that are really great. So I'm always reading something. So I went to a place where they were like, this is the only way. If you leave here, you'll forget how to act. It was really, I never believed that.
Right.
I was a little older than most people when I started because I was too busy down here smoking crack at the time.
Oh, wow.
And then I heard that, but I never really believed it. So I started reading about other great teachers, and Strasberg with his, sense memory, whatever it is, he got a bad rap. And then he's got a lot of good exercises. I've been teaching for 20 years. I have a school called Lola's Acting School.
Oh, wow.
I started with my son, so Lola's is Lally Acting School, LOLAS, and because that's my last name.
Okay.
And so I started teaching animal exercises and the picture exercise that Strasberg did. So yeah, I try to do a little bit of everything when I get it, and just let it flow depending on what it's in. And definitely emotional preparation,
Right.
depending on what it is. So yeah, the whole thing. The Meisner technique is what is my main thing, and it's a Pavlovian technique to be ready when you get on the set and not have to worry about anything else.
What does that
That's
consist
right.
of?
Excuse me?
What does that consist of, that
What?
technique?
Oh,
What do you do to get yourself into character on a moment's notice?
in a moment's notice? What's the character? I mean, depending I have it on me.
Colonel
there's
Sanders,
thing-
what did you do before we stormed
Honestly,
the first
when
McDonald's?
I did that, and you'll know about this, and when Gary Oldman did State of Grace, he talks about and Gary Oldman's fantastic. He talked
Yeah,
about
he's so good.
I couldn't grasp it. He did all his fucking homework, and then he put on that crazy leather jacket.
Sometimes,
and he said he put it on,
Costume,
and it
man.
all came together.
The costume
Yeah.
helps.
So when I was doing this, I basically just heard, because I've auditioned for the Colonel before. I used to do it more like this, like a Southern gentleman. And then I just heard Norm Macdonald do, I'm the Colonel. I'm going to talk like this. And even though I thought it was stupid when I first heard it, Norm, I love you.
Yeah.
I mean, but it just for me. And then I thought, and then we were going out, it just came in my mind. Sometimes things just pop in your head, and that's what I heard. So I'm going to talk like this. I want to buy this McDonald's. I want to turn into Kentucky Fried Chicken, And so sometimes, but again, it's been training for all these years where things kind of come
Naturally,
easily
yeah,
sometimes, But if you're right for a part, it just happens, and if you're not, you may never get it. I mean, that's my experience.
You're absolutely right.
In Leo's case, he's not right for any parts then.
Well, I get an occasional part, mostly porn stars, strippers, stuff like that.
Nothing wrong
He's
with
been
that.
canceled a couple times. We
I
think,
have.
we think they might Google him after he walks out of the
Yeah,
audition room.
I slipped in there in a nice project recently, and they must have not Googled me.
Really?
Or
What was that?
Don't worry about it if I could take it.
Gramps, what were you saying? I'm sorry. That was crude, what I did there.
That was crude.
I know he's been through
Was
the whole time.
it was cruder when I was on top of you wailing on you in a McDonald's and then we
That's
made
true.
out. Yeah.
That's true.
Uh-huh.
Well, by wailing, he means entering me.
Dude,
Oh, man.
It's
From the
crazy. It was a very urban McDonald's in
Yeah.
a Walmart.
Yeah.
It was probably a 90% black crowd. They were all filming it. When we kissed, the cheer we got. I mean, they will remember that for the rest of their lives. We brought so much joy to this fucking crowd.
They're woke in a
God
whole
damn.
different way than I thought.
Can't wait for this video, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
dude-
gonna see it any minute now.
Like,
hell yeah.
imagine in a black Walmart / McDonald's, Colonel Sanders and Ronald McDonald fighting on the floor. How much the black people just loved it. We talk about this, how black people love pranks. They have a good
they're the
sense of
best.
humor
They're
when
the
you're
best. They're
pranking
the
out in
best.
public.
Well, no,
The
there was
best reactions.
This brother that followed us out of the first one. He took a picture with me in the McDonald's. Then he followed us to the van, and he said, and I was in the van. I was in the inside. And he's like, "Excuse me, can you get out?" He was an older gentleman. Like, "Excuse me, can you come out here? I mean, I need to get out." I said, "We got a picture," and he goes, "It wasn't good enough." But I said, "Okay." So I jumped out, and he said, "I got to get a picture with you because you are a legend in our community."
Yeah.
Yes.
He was a science fiction writer, this guy.
Yeah.
It was a black dude in a cowboy hat and like a suit and cowboy boots who loved the display.
He did look like a Mad Max character, like one of your softball buddies.
Oh God.
But there was a guy. You see that old guy with the cane that chased me?
Yes, I
inside?
did. Yeah, I did.
I got to see. We got to. Well, that's going to go. The thing is, it went so well. It's going to be a big part of an episode in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
So so we couldn't get it all in there. But that guy pissed me off. I know we were doing a thing, but he was sitting there and he had that goatee that was a foot long, and he had some sort of crazy mouth on his mask. And he started going, and I looked at him and I was like, this guy's saying, and he jumps up. He's got a cane and he can't really walk. His feet are like the penguin, and he's shuffling as he goes. He's like, show me what you got. Show me what you, and he's chasing me. And I'm like, it's either time to throw down with Gramps or the real Gramps, or I got to run away from this guy. And he's got a cane and he's shuffling after me fast. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
That's funny.
Speaking of acting lessons, I remember that moment, and I did something in that moment that I often beat myself up for when we're out on shoots.
Rub one out?
Was that?
Rubbed one out?
I did. To the memory of that many times. I had a joke when you and that guy were fighting, and I had it in my head, and I wanted to say it aloud, and I did hold it in my head and wait for the right moment at the expense of reacting to what was happening in front of me. I forget what it was. I was like, you found another white supremacist to be friends with, didn't you, Colonel? Or something like that. Something that was like kind of silly, but a much better comedic choice would have been to realize that it was heating up between you two. And it would have been better if I had taken sides or started having a refereeing role. And that is such a truth in comedy that reacting to what your scene partner says, reacting to the very last thing they said as if it is the most important thing on earth is always going to be a better choice than whatever line you've spent the last 10 seconds concocting in your head.
Yeah, but it's funny how things get locked in your head. There's a video, recent one I have up on TikTok, and there was a girl, obviously been on meth for a few days, and she was bizarre and dancing, doing all this stuff, and I was just trying to, I was Gramps with the walker and everything, and I go, oh, my son's a big fan, I want a picture, and she's like, no, man, just have him read the Bible, man, and she starts doing this.
Was this a sketch or was this a real woman on the street?
Outside of Walmart.
Okay.
Yeah, outside of Walmart.
I watched it on your Instagram.
Oh, okay. So she's doing this stuff, and she goes, read the Bible, and she's doing all the hand motion of someone who's been up for 4 days, and she's like doing this stuff, and I go, and in my head I go, I want to say, well, he's not going to read the Bible because he's a devil worshiper.
Oh my God,
And
that would have been great.
And I asked where it was, but the thing was, she was talking over me, and you have to wait. You're doing your thing. These people are crazy,
Right.
So you have to wait. And then when I watched it back, I never said it. I just held on to it because I had to wait for it. You have to. I mean, it's comedy. You have to wait. But she wouldn't. It had passed by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it ages quick once it passes by.
Right.
If she says 3 or 4 more things, they immediately have significance. And the old line that you wanted to react to is 3-month-old milk.
Right.
It's another thing where I feel like the reps, just doing it over and over again, make you eventually, better. It's just getting the reps in.
Well, yeah. I mean, so the Meisner technique is about listening and responding. It's about getting out of your head. So we do improvisations, not improvs. Improvisations where the only thing you say is what the other person makes you say. You read their behavior. You know, Danny's listening to me. He's nodding his head. He's very involved.
You, on the other
you're
hand,
really
Leo,
interested in hearing what I have to say about act. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
about pussy. That's all he
yeah,
cares
Stop
about.
it.
Well, not at this moment.
Not at this.
He's-
Danny's deflecting because he thinks you
Not
get more
at this
pussy than he does.
I know he gets more
So-
pussy than I do.
Anyway, so that type of stuff. So that's why when we're out there doing this stuff, we're listening and responding. You know, that's why when I said you're insignificant, whatever, you said these people are all filming me, and I said that's because it's going up on loser.com.
Yeah, that was nice.
You know what I mean?
That was a nice exchange.
So it's all about listening to what's going on and responding to it. So you're right. And once it's gone, it's gone. And you get mad as hell. You're like, fuck, that would have been a good line, but it didn't fit.
Which is another staple of improvisational comedy and acting, is that you're the best improviser on the ride home. Everybody has
yeah.
that.
Everybody always feels that.
Everybody
oh
has
my
that.
God! When I teach acting, you know, especially with beginning students, I tell them there's 3 auditions: the one on the way there, the one you do, and the one on the way home. You know what I mean? Very rarely, but it's good when the one on the way home
Yep.
is as good as the one in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So-
Sometimes that happens. And
Sometimes
it feels good.
happens.
Not
Yeah.
always. Not